Let's shift our focus now. On the 21st of April 2019, a group of Sri Lankans inspired by the Islamic State carried out 6 coordinated suicide bombings in churches and tourist hotels. 269 people were killed in these attacks, including worshippers at the Easter Sunday services, locals, foreign tourists. Now, 4 years later, the Wickremasinghe-led government is gearing up to probe whether the state intelligence service was complicit in one of the most devastating extremist attacks in Sri Lankan history. The Sri Lankan government will appoint a parliamentary committee to probe the allegations made in a British television report that the Sri Lankan intelligence was complicit in the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings. In the report released on Tuesday, a man who called himself Azad Maulana claimed to have arranged a secret meeting between an Islamic extremist group and a top Sri Lankan intelligence official in 2018. He claims that this meeting was to hatch a plot to create insecurity in Sri Lanka. After security camera footage of the 2019 Easter suicide bombings was released, he says that he recognized the suicide bombers were the same people who met the intelligence official. After this report was released, Sri Lanka's Labour Minister told Parliament on Tuesday that details on the investigation would be announced soon. On Wednesday, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, while addressing the Parliament, called for an international inquiry into the bombing attack. He said, and I'm quoting here, "A large majority of the people are of the view that a fair local investigation has not been conducted into this attack," and he further added that there's a need for a transparent international investigation to find out the truth about the 2019 Easter Sunday bombings. In the TV report, the man claimed that the state intelligence official who met the extremist group told him that creating insecurity was the only way to return the Rajapaksa family to power. After the bombings, fears over national security enabled Gotabaya Rajapaksa to gain power. However, he led the country into one of its worst economic periods and was forced to resign and flee the country in mid-2022. Gotabaya Rajapaksa is yet to comment on claims that Sri Lankan intelligence allowed the 2019 Easter Sunday bombing to help him come to power.
Many of them feel unsafe.
For more on this, we're now being joined by our correspondent Dasuni Athauda, live from Colombo. Thank you so much for joining us, Dasuni. Now, to begin with, what is the status of this probe and what's transpired in this case so far before this report in fact surfaced?
Well, Him, to be very honest, the accusations, the allegations of this documentary by the British television network is quite severe, given that if this is to be true, this is one of the worst instances of inaction that the Sri Lankan government has taken, where the end, it resulted in the deaths of hundreds of people while also injuring hundreds of others. From the latest, from what we know now, is that Sri Lankan government politicians have said that an international investigation will be commenced into this incident, but reminding you also that an initial investigation was held where a commission was appointed under the regime of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and the findings of that report was in fact handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa himself all the way back in 2021. However, the findings of that commission and that report was not made public. So it will be interesting to see how different this new commission under the leadership of President Wickremasinghe will be like.
Right, absolutely, Dasuni. In fact, I was just going to ask you, what do you think? How do you think this will unfold going forward? How are the Rajapaksas reacting to these revelations that attacks were in fact planned to return them to power?
Well, so far the Rajapaksas have not made a public comment except for MP Namal Rajapaksa, who made quite a careless statement that the video was in fact taken down, whereas when you did look into it, it was a regional viewership issue where the documentary is still very much online. But the Rajapaksas, in a broader perspective, have not yet responded. However, the intelligence chief, who was named in this documentary through and through, has said that he will be taking legal action for this documentary, but he has said that all the allegations leveled against him are untrue and baseless.
All right. Well, Dasuni, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.